There are people who crawl through life taking years to achieve what could be done in months. And then there are the outliers, the ones who rise so fast it seems almost supernatural. They cut through obstacles like a blade slicing air, leaving the rest of the world wondering, how the hell are they progressing so fast? If you want to be one of them, there's no better teacher than Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary samurai who became undefeated in 61 duels, wrote the Book of Five Rings, and lived by principles so sharp they cut through time itself. This man wasn't just a warrior, he was a master of rapid, ruthless progress. Musashi didn't just get better, he got better faster than everyone else, and that's exactly what you're about to learn how to do. 1. Burn the bridges behind you. No retreat, no distractions. Most people never progress quickly because they always have a way out, a backup plan, a safety net. Musashi never did. At 13 years old, he fought his first duel against a trained samurai. He didn't hesitate. He didn't second-guess himself. He simply had no choice but to win, and he did. That's the kind of mindset you need. If you want to progress faster than anyone else, you have to destroy the possibility of failure. Want to get stronger? Lock yourself into a training schedule with no way out. Want to build a business? Invest your money so that failure means financial ruin. Want to master a skill? Make it impossible to quit. Go public with your commitment so backing out would humiliate you. When you have no retreat, your mind rewires itself to find solutions instead of excuses. 2. Learn in the chaos of battle, not the safety of books. Most people love to prepare. They research, they plan, they read every book on the subject before they take action. Musashi didn't do that. He learned in battle. His philosophy was simple. Real learning happens in chaos, not in classrooms, not in theory, not in quiet moments of contemplation, but in the fire of actual experience. If you want to progress at lightning speed, learn by doing. If you want to fight, get into fights. If you want to write, start publishing. If you want to speak, start talking. Seek the battlefield. Stop practicing in comfort. Throw yourself into situations where you must adapt and improve. Make failure your teacher. Every mistake should be a lesson, not a setback. Musashi lost his first battles. He learned, adapted, and became undefeated. 3. Adapt or die. The art of no style. People love rigid systems. They want one way to do things, a formula, a method, a blueprint. Musashi hated that mindset. He never locked himself into a single style. He used 2 swords instead of 1, breaking all traditional samurai rules. He adapted in real time. He changed his approach mid-fight, and that's why he won. If you want to progress faster than anyone else, you need to abandon the idea of one right way. Be flexible. If a method isn't working, change it. Use everything. Mix techniques, strategies, and ideas from different fields. Break the rules. Don't be afraid to do things your own way. The fastest learners are the ones who don't get stuck in a single mindset. They flow like water, shifting and adapting as needed. 4. Cut the fat. Brutal simplicity wins. Speed comes from simplicity. Most people move slowly because they overcomplicate everything. They add layers of unnecessary nonsense to even the simplest tasks. Musashi was a master of cutting away the unnecessary. His fighting style was direct, efficient, and stripped down to the absolute essentials. If you want to progress fast, you must do the same. Eliminate fluff. If something isn't directly improving your skill, get rid of it. Focus on what works. Ignore what doesn't move the needle. Simplify your process. Complexity slows you down. Efficiency speeds you up. Most people fail because they drown in useless motion. They confuse being busy with being productive. Musashi understood that true mastery is about subtraction, not addition. 5. Develop ruthless self-discipline. No one is coming to save you. The biggest lie people believe is that they need motivation, that they have to feel inspired to take action, that they need the perfect conditions to succeed. Musashi didn't believe in that. He lived by discipline, not motivation. He practiced endlessly, trained without excuses. He didn't need someone to push him. He pushed himself. If you want to move faster than anyone else, stop waiting for motivation and force yourself into action. Set a brutal schedule and follow it. Ignore your feelings. They don't matter. Be relentless, even when you don't feel like it. Motivation is a lie. Discipline is everything. 6. Control your mind. Control your speed. Most people are mentally weak. They get distracted. They overthink. they hesitate. Musashi trained his mind like a weapon. He didn't let emotions cloud his judgment. He stayed calm in the face of death. He moved without hesitation. If you want to progress faster than everyone else, kill your distractions. Social media, pointless entertainment, mindless scrolling. These are enemies. Master your emotions. Fear, doubt, anxiety. Cut them down like an enemy in battle. Move without hesitation. Overthinking is just a fancy word for paralysis. Your mind determines your speed. Control it and you'll move like lightning. 7. Die every day. Rebirth through relentless growth. Musashi lived as if every day was his last. Not in the reckless, foolish way most people imagine, but in the sense that he killed his old self every single day. If you want to progress faster than anyone else, you need to die daily. The weak, undisciplined, slow version of you, kill it, leave it behind. Recreate yourself every morning. Never stay the same. Constantly evolve. Destroy complacency. The moment you get comfortable, you start dying. Embrace discomfort. Growth only happens at the edge of pain. 8. Master the art of relentless execution. Most people fail because they hesitate, they overthink, they wait for the perfect moment that never comes. Musashi had no patience for hesitation. He lived by relentless execution, striking without delay, moving without second-guessing. If you want to progress faster than anyone else, you need to master the art of taking action immediately, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Now, speed kills hesitation. The longer you wait to act, the harder it becomes. When you have an idea, execute it. When you see an opportunity, take it. Train yourself to move first, think later. Failure is fuel, not fear. Most people hesitate because they're afraid of messing up. Musashi understood that every mistake was another step toward mastery. Instead of avoiding failure, chase it, because the faster you fail, the faster you learn. Eliminate decision fatigue. The more choices you have, the slower you move. Simplify your process, reduce your options. Create strict rules for yourself so you don't waste time thinking about what to do, you just do it. Train like a warrior. Relentless execution requires relentless preparation. Musashi practiced constantly, not to be perfect, but to be ready. Train your skills so thoroughly that execution becomes automatic. The world rewards those who act, not those who plan forever. While others hesitate, you will move with the speed of a blade slicing through the air. Be the one who moves faster than time. The world belongs to those who move faster than everyone else, who cut through life like a sword, advancing while others hesitate, who learn in battle, adapt without fear, and push themselves beyond human limits. That's what Musashi did, and that's what you can do if you're willing to abandon the slow, weak, hesitant mindset that holds most people back. Most people will read this and do nothing, but a few will take it and become unstoppable. Which one are you? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. I'll see you next time.